Hey ya, hey ya. Hi. I hope everyone is doing really good. And I'm excited to talk about hexing. Kathy's live was a couple days ago, and that was on cursing. So, of course, we have to kind of buck them together, right? So that's why she did cursing, and then we're going to follow that by, obviously, hexing. Because they are two separate things, like two separate entities. So we're going to talk about that. So I'm just going to give it a minute, have some people pop on. I see some people are coming. Hey, everyone. I missed you guys. It's been a while. It's been a while since I've been able to come on and say hey. But as you can tell, we're moving on to a little bit more darker things. Just for fun and just to offset the Hey Serenity, to offset the whole Valentine's Day standard February theme. So we want to try something a little bit different. So we want the polar opposites. So we thought we'd throw a little loop just for fun. Hey, Jody. Hey, everyone's popping on. Cool. I'm going to give it just a couple more seconds. I can't remember if I'm early or if I'm on time. We're going to pretend like I'm fashionably on time. That sounds better. Hey! All right. So the first things first, we're going to jump in because I have a lot of information, but it's repetitive in its own way. But I want to read you something first. And this is quoted, not from moi, but from an actual author. But I want to read it to you because it comes really to the point of what we're going to talk about today, okay? So, do me a favor, just close your eyes. And it's not a meditation, but I want you to really just focus on what I'm saying. Okay, close your eyes. Here we go. To be a witch is a recognition of who I am to marrow and blood. It is to embrace that part within me connected to nature. And it is to take responsibility for the intentions that I send out into the world through spellcraft and witchery. Hexing is a practice in witchcraft, as indeed all forms of magic are, regardless of how intentions or mechanics have been categorized over the generations as light, darkness, good, and evil. I've heard it said to be a witch is to have the power to harm or to heal within. I believe this to be true. How we choose to use that power is down to us to decide. Now open your eyes. Now tell me, does that not really hit? Like, everything about that was, yeah. It kind of gave you that understanding of, yeah, that makes sense. Because the power is us. We choose to blend herbs. We choose to create our own oils. We choose to make our own teas. We choose to hex. We choose to curse. Now, sometimes some things might come more out of a surprise to even ourselves if anger and agitation gets in the way. The words, because words are power, right? You don't always need the candles. You don't need the jars. You don't need the ice. You don't need the swamp water. You don't need any of that to hex or to curse, which we've talked about before. But you need your words and you need your intentions. And the most important thing, you need your energy. And with that energy, makes or breaks your spells, correct? Am I wrong? So think of it that way, okay? So when we talk about this, I talk about cursing because we've talked about hexing, or we're going to talk about hexing, because I've done a lot of it. Some intentional, some not realizing I did it until after the words came out of my mouth. That's power, okay? So be mindful of that as we talk about this. At the end, I'm going to give you a few different styles you can use of hexing if you choose. I'll always give you warnings throughout this whole thing, but I'm also going to give you 2 different examples of ways to break hexes that were put on yourself. Now, you can also do it for someone else, but remember, your energy will probably be depleted. And now, this is just from my personal belief and my personal experience, so again, keep that in mind, because everything we talk about is based off of mostly my experience, or Kathy's experience, or Jody's experience, or Sarah Lee's, Gina's. You see what I mean? So these are my experiences and what I've done and what I've experienced and how I've gathered information over the years, okay? Are we ready? Okay. So the biggest thing that I thought that was really cool that I really wanted to kind of share with you is, do you guys actually know what hex, like where it originated from and where it came from and what it actually means? Not the modern version of what hex means, but what actually hex means. Are you ready for this? Okay. So hex, my darlings, actually means witch, or to practice witchcraft. And that came from the 1800s, all right? It was brought over, you ready? It was brought to the United States by Pennsylvanian Germans around the 1800s. That term itself. So I thought that was pretty cool. So technically, back in the day, hex meant witch, or meant to practice witchcraft, okay? But now, we know a lot of different terms of what actually hexing symbolizes or means to so many different types of people. So other names that hexing is. Biggest thing. Ready? To control or achieve. Bewitching. And we know bewitching represents like a casting of spell over someone. Enchant, if you want a more like easy term for it. So enchant, to put someone under a spell. Jinxing someone, a person or object who is used to bring bad luck. Or a whammy, to use evil or unlucky influences to affect others in a negative way. So each word represents the same theme, but has its own subcategory to it. So I'm going to repeat that just one more time, okay? So you could just use a basic, hey, I'm going to hex someone, so I'm going to control something or someone or achieve by using magic. But to bewitch someone is to cast a spell over someone. To enchant someone, which is my absolute favorite, is to put someone under a spell, okay? Jinx someone, a person or an object who is used to bring bad luck. Or a whammy, to use evil or unlucky influences to affect someone or other in a negative way. Now, I said those word for word as they were written in my uncrossing book because I didn't want to say them wrong. Now, I know in my head, hey, yeah, I'm going to curse someone, or curse, oh my gosh, I'm going to jinx someone, or I want to enchant someone, but I'm more of a person, I like to enchant objects, not people, because I'd rather bewitch someone if I wanted to use a term. But all in all, I'm hexing someone, okay? But I like to enchant objects. Okay. Make sure I didn't forget anything on those. Okay, but the most important standard version of hexing, okay, is it implies an unpleasant or an unlucky or harmful thing to do to someone or their stuff through supernatural. I say supernatural because I hate when they always implies like it's not real. No, it's always real. It's real. It's real. Through supernatural means of using witchcraft. So, what would be a good type of magic style? Baneful magic. Okay. Baneful magic would be a good type of representation of hexing and cursing. Both of them. So if you wanted to put hexing, cursing into a subcategory and put baneful magic as its style, baneful magic, or I hate to say, but dark magic, because it really makes me mad, or black magic, what would be another one? Hoodoo or voodoo? Voodoo, I think, is the darker one. Hoodoo, I think, is a religion. Voodoo is the practice. Where's Sarah Lee when you need it? When you need her. So, okay. But yeah, so, you know, there's other, like, categories, right? But there's just some ideas. So if you want to use baneful magic and then have, like, the break-offs, there's a bunch of break-offs. All right. Little extra information. Okay. Let me see. I have a plan. Okay, so don't forget to tell you things. Okay, so Kathy talked about what cursing is, and I talk about what hexing is. Well, here's the thing. I'm going to give you the similarities, or I should say the differences between the two. So if you remember from Kathy, you know that cursing is a more of a long-term period style of magic, where hexing actually can fall off, like the time period. It's not a permanent thing. A curse can be permanent. It can also then go into generational cursing. Hence the breaking generational curses from your ancestors. That's a big thing. But hexing is more of a temporary base kind of thing, like it falls off. So that's one. And again, I'm saying this because we're learning about hexing, guys. So we're going to talk a little in this more scarier side. But hexing is a better option if you have, and I hate to say this, if you had a little bit of guilt. If you have just a little bit of guilt, you might want to hex. You're going to get some repercussions from it. But to curse someone or something it has long-term benefits to it. So always keep that in mind, okay? So most curses come as like a ritual base, and I have to go back and see if Kathy did say this because I watched it twice, but I'm having a brain fart right now, probably because I'm on camera, and I'm getting nervous. No, I'm just kidding. When do I get nervous? I love you guys. But curses usually come with more of a ritual base. You do more steps to it. You detail things out. You really have everything written down word for word. You follow a set way of things, whether you're adding, you know, stuff. If you're cursing an object, you have the object inform, you know, you do what you need to do. Where hexing sometimes doesn't require that. It's more of an enchantment. There's that word again. It's more of I can say some words, write someone's name down. I could put someone in a jar, someone's name written down on a bay leaf in a jar, and fill it with mud water, or, you know, I can make war water with it. And that's a form of hexing. It can be quick. It doesn't have to take a long period of time, and it doesn't require a full onset ritual, okay? So shorter processing time to longer time. That's all that. So like I said, hexing is milder compared to cursing, and cursing is more brutal than a hex and can be extremely terrible because it can go on for centuries, if not just pure generations, okay? So you might not mean to, at the time when you curse someone, you know, you might not mean to curse their bloodline. Hexing, like I said, it's mild compared to it. So usually a lot of people go for the hexing. So I thought this was really cool, and I wanted to bring this up. So hexing can cause physical changes, as you may know. And because we're doing the Harry Potter box, I had to bring this up. But think of it like you're hexing someone to turn into like a rodent or a rat or something, or you're hexing them to have an ugly appearance, or you're making their, you know, I don't know, their nose grow or something silly. So you can change their physical appearance too, and it's more of a mind over matter thing when I say that. So I don't mean like you could technically make their nose grow, but you can. It's all in the power. It's all in the energy. It's all on how you do the steps. But you can make someone appear ugly to others. And I say this from experience. So, you know, I had difficulty when I became a lieutenant, okay, at my job. Promotion came with a lot of issues. Mostly 1, I'm a female. 2, I'm a bigger girl. 3, I'm an overachiever and people don't like me because I have less than years than them and I promoted way faster than them. But I had issues with a few people that I trusted at the time. More than the time, but since I started, because we were on special teams together. Well, they broke my trust and spoke out of turn. So in return, I put a hex on them. It required war water. I created my war water with the ingredients I had on stock. If you know me, I have some stuff. But my biggest thing was I wanted them to appear ugly to others because they made me appear ugly to others by bashing me, okay? That's where my hexing came into play. So, I used rusty nails. I used mud water outside that I had. I had dirty snow water. And I mean like disgusting snow water, if you know what I mean. And then I had my other herbs that I knew were more baneful, okay? I used bloodroot in the worst way possible. I crushed it until it was a powder just to help turn the water. I used vinegar. I used white vinegar and apple cider vinegar. Anything that was bitter and disgusting, and I put all this into it, okay? I made my war water. And then I added my, what is it called? Oh, I'm having a brain fart. But there's a certain type of herb/plant-based that you put into it too. And it kind of entangles everything together and it sticks. I can't remember what it's called. I'm having a brain fart. But if I don't remember tonight, if anyone wants to know, I can let you know. I honestly can't remember. It's type of weed like. Thank you, Meredith. I fucking love you. Ooh. I love you. Yes, Spanish moss. You put Spanish moss in it too, and it entangles everything. And then when the Spanish moss hits the vinegar, it turns it nasty. And I love it. Love it. And then you can write someone's name on it, or someone's. Put it in there if you have some of their hair. Yes, I know, I said hair, or fingernails, or whatever you can get a hold of. Put that in there too. It ties them to the jar. So the war water becomes an extremely powerful thing. You can freeze it. I don't recommend freezing it because if it breaks in your freezer, it is probably, in my personal opinion, is the worst type of backlash you're gonna get because it's in your house, on your stuff that has your energy resonating in it. So you really don't want that. What I do is I go far off in my woods, in my property line, dig underneath a big tree, and I bury that thing. So that way I know it's deep enough, and I know no animals can get to it, and I know it's safe, and then I bury it, and I leave it. And I don't go back for it, ever. Because you don't want that to break on you. I promise you that. Okay? So yeah, you can cause physical damage, but also through someone else's mind, okay? So that's why I say that. So I know I went a little off turn, but that's why I say it that way. So, I made them appear ugly because that's how they made me feel and how they portrayed me to others, okay? So, I hope that makes sense. Let me know if that doesn't make sense. You can also give them bad luck, which is a big one, and that's what a lot of people like to do. You can give them bad luck in their job, in their home life, in their love life, just in general. Maybe they failed some type of exam, but the biggest one is, bad luck. In any case, you can do that. You could even wish that they met an accident. If they really caused you enough damage, there are people that have said words, and you've even seen this in the movies, if you really think about it, is someone will speak it, something as simple as, I hope you meet with the same, See, I don't want to say it because I'm afraid the words come out and something will happen to someone. So just know what I mean, that sometimes when you say something, you know, like to cause an accident in a form, someone could get an accident driving home, you know, like you get in a fight with maybe your significant other and you say something really nasty to them, you know, well, I hope this happens to you on your way home then, if you know what I mean. And bam, it does, you know, and that is where the guilt will come in, like you weren't even intentionally meaning it. It was just, you were so caught up in the moment. You were so angry because that is what fueled your energy, was the rage, the agitation, the emotion. That's power. Like, that's huge power, okay? So just know, you don't need the candles, you don't need the jars, you don't need the war water, you don't need the swamp water, you don't need any of that. Your words are extremely powerful when it comes to hexing, most of all. Cursing, yes, but again, cursing takes more. There's more to cursing something because you're really digging into that. But hexing is spontaneous at times, and sometimes you do it without realizing you do it, and then the backlash that comes back is it makes you feel like crap afterwards, especially if it was not intentional. It was a spur of the moment, heated emotion. And when you're magical, you have that type of influence into the universe, sometimes it makes you feel like crap afterwards. And it's going to hurt you in your own way. And usually it means emotion-wise. See, Mira says, I swear this happened to me before. I felt bad. Yeah, me too. That's why I say it. Me too. Me too. Is it like, I hope you have the day you deserve? That's more... I call that more of a karmatic type of thing. I don't really want to call it a curse. It's more of a... I just call it more... It's just more karma, you know? Because I say that all the time to people. I don't really look at it more as a hex because you're not wishing them bad luck. You're just kind of hoping, well, you know what? Whatever you gave, you know, I hope you get what you got. I hope you get what you got coming. To me, I don't categorize that to this extreme, but it's close. Like it kind of falls in the more lighter, milder categories. But to me, I call it karma. Don't let karma bite you in the ass. Right? That's how I look at it. Oh, shoot. Did I miss something? Oh, I'm sorry, Serenity. What is war water, if you don't mind me asking? Ooh, see, I love war water. In our old group that we had, I did a whole thing on different types of magical waters, and we made war water. Because I had a supervisor at the time that was really harassing me really bad. And I put him in the jar, and I'd say not even a month later, he took a promotion to a different institution, and he was bye-bye. So, you know, he didn't have any bad negative influences or anything, but he was still gone out of my energy, my zone. That's all I wanted. That was the biggest thing. So sometimes that can happen too. But war water is a type of magical water that is more of getting a revenge on someone or making... it's a black magic. We're just going to say that. It's a type of black magic water. It's really good. If you want, maybe one day I can do a small mini segment on just making war water, and we can make war water together. But it's really, I like war water. And pretty much you use a bunch of, which I already said, you know, you use a bunch of nasty things or things that can rust and turn things like nasty. It's just a really nasty type of water. It's really good though. But yeah, maybe one day I could do that. I love creating war water. It's so Kathy loves to make jar spells and freezer spells. Okay, I love war waters. I adapt them to whoever I'm putting them in against, and I adapt them to what I have at, you know, my disposal. You don't have to have any special types of herbs. You can go get rusty nails. You can go get dirty mud water that's outside from the snow melting, or, you know, just a puddle of mud or puddle of water that people's been stepping in. You could use urine. You can use period water. There's vinegar. There's really no, like, you have to use this. It's pepper, cayenne pepper, spicy peppers, jalapeno peppers, ghost peppers. You know what I mean? If you want to throw anything in like that in there, that's all you have to do. It's just the name, the items you might want to throw in there, and those words. Would a binding be considered a hex? Yes. I call it black binding because there is, we use like ribbon or string when it comes to breaking people apart too. When it comes to hexing, I call it black binding. But yeah, you can do that. Meredith's war water is fun. Yay! Okay, yeah, I'll definitely let me just write that down so I don't forget. So, war water segment. I got you. We'll do that. Just for some fun. Why not? I love making stuff. Dog poop. Yep. And if you have a picture, you could definitely add that in there too, for sure. But if you don't have a picture of someone, like say it's someone you work with, all you gotta do is write their name down. And you envision them and what they look like when you put that picture, or when you put their name in there. You could put on a bay leaf, you could put on a scrap piece of paper, you could put on a burnt piece of paper, anything you really want. You could put on a pretty scroll and scroll it up and burn the edges of it, and then slide it in the little jar. You can do so much with war water. It's really good. It's very powerful though, and you don't want to spill it, you don't want to splash it, you don't want to do anything like that. You do want to seal it with wax. So when I first started, I'd make them in like the bigger jars, and it took forever to seal it with the wax. So I now use the small little jars, like this big, like probably about that round wise, maybe like that tall. And I go with those ones. Why? Because I can seal it quick. I only need a little bit of ingredients, and it still gets the job done. You don't need to have this big thing. You only need a little thing. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about your jar sizes too. You don't really need the big jars. Now, if you're doing some cursing with some jars and stuff, that's one thing. But if you're doing a little hexing, nah, you don't need that. You just need a little tiny little jar. Candle jars. If they have like the screw-on lids and stuff, like the little ones are like about yay big. They're like $1 at the dollar store. Those are perfect. Burn the candle for yourself, whatever you need in it. Clean up the jar, or don't clean up the jar, because then all the candle wax inside. Keep it. Why not? It seals it even better. That's a genius idea. Why didn't I think of that before? Oh, yes. Use a candle jar, an old candle jar that you already burned. There's always residue in the wax already in it. Put your ingredients on the inside. It helps seal it from the inside, and then seal it from the outside. Oh, that's genius. Why didn't I think of this over the years? I've been cleaning out those jars for all this long time. Huh. I love it. I have a new trick. I love new tricks. Oh, I love when I talk to you guys. You guys give me so many creative ideas. Ooh, yes. Mira says she used black wax to seal hers. Black wax, white wax, red if it's revenge style things. Gray too, because it's a darker, it's the darker shade. So yeah, definitely. Any type of wax like that. Mira said, oh my God, I never thought of that. There's black soot too. Yes, black soot, ashes. You can make black salt too. Throw that in there. I know usually people are like, oh, black salt's for purifying and clearing and stuff. Yes, but you could also use black salt for other things. You could use graveyard dirt if you really want to give them a little... Yeah, there's a lot of different things you could use And any type of hexing. Doesn't necessarily mean it has to be war water, but it can be any type of hexing, okay? So definitely keep that in mind. So why are people going to hex? Like, why would we hex someone? Well, we talked about a little bit, you know, when you're trying to get justice on someone. If someone has done you serious wrong, hexing is one way we would go. Personal grievances. So think of it when, like retribution or manipulation regarding unfaithful lovers, annoying or combative neighbors, those who mean to cause you harm or your family harm. Okay, that's called personal grievances. Magical resistance. So this is a little trickier one, and this kind of falls under that when you remember when some of these witches were hexing the moon in the government. They fall that idea of theirs into this magical resistance. So magical resistance means this. So where there is an acute need for social reform or change, for dealing with fascism, white supremacy, racism related to anything political. So that's where the whole government thing comes in. So they call it magical resistance. Yeah. We're going to leave that one. I already said the justice, so pretty much anything that is personal or related to your family is a form of justice / revenge. That's my go-to. I will do personal grievances also, but I usually just call it, justice where justice needs to be served. Yes, the neighbors is a big thing too. I had really bad neighbors, but my bad neighbors, they were my family, as in my cousin. So I didn't feel right trying to hex my cousin, but I did wish her very ill will. Unfortunately, some things came to play just years later. We're not going to get into any of that. I'm going to pretend like that was just nature doing what nature needed to do. Okay, how might a witch or practitioner actually hex? These are more warning signs. So let's do the warning. Ready? Be mindful that this is a form of black magic, baneful magic, voodoo, red magic, and I consider red magic as blood magic, not what most people consider red magic. Know that most hexing is based on your personal belief on right and wrong. So what I consider right and wrong might not necessarily mean you consider that right and wrong, okay? Meredith. Hexing, even cursing, for sure cursing, but hexing is not something I recommend for beginner witches at all. If you're a beginner witch, I fully recommend protection magic, 100%, and shielding. Two of the most basic things every witch should know first in a practice before you even consider hexing, okay? Would be another way of saying this. If I was the average witch, which I'm not, but pretend I am, I would live by the motto. I should probably not say it that way. That might offend someone. This is a better way. Again, pretend I'm the standard witch. Okay. Does that even exist? No, it doesn't. Hexing should always be your last resort. You should never automatically go to hexing when someone pisses you off. We already know that's not me. I hex way too much. But it's justifiable. I promise you that. But I don't hex stupid shit. Like, I'm not gonna hex the moon. or the government. Especially when I know I almost went into my own little theory, so we're not going to do that. But I know the government has their own secret society of witches that are generational. So let's just leave it at that. And maybe that'll be a topic for another day. But make it, in a way, your last resort. Always try to, be the bigger and better person. All right. So pretty much have a really good reason to hex someone. Don't just hex someone to hex someone. Make it justifiable. Did they do you wrong? Did they do your family wrong? Did they do your dog wrong? Did they do your cat wrong? Did they drive you nuts? Do you have neighbors driving you nuts? Are they, becoming a nuisance? They're calling the cops on you too much for no reason at all, just to drive you crazy. Things like that. I think that's it for that one. Okay, so we know consequences are a big thing. If you believe in the rule of 3, if you follow the more Wiccan read, you know that, rule 3 is a big thing, what you give out will always come back tenfold, threefold. I think it's threefold. I say tenfold, just I think it's my mother's phrase. But it always comes back threefold to you, so know what you're saying, watch your words, be careful what you say, be careful backlash. Sometimes even the best witch still gets backlash. It might not be as powerful as what you put out, but you might have a bad day. You might have... I'm trying to give a really good example. Let's say you were having issues with an employee at work. And I mean, this became a verbal disagreement. And it came bad. And your whole day was shot. So you did a little bit of hexing. Sent that energy out to them. We'll say the next following week on a Wednesday. All of a sudden, your whole work day, nothing went right. Everyone argued with you. Maybe customers argued with you. Fellow employees argued with you. Your boss argued with you. You're getting picked on all day long for little things that made no sense. That can be also considered backlash in a form. Okay? You might not have gotten the full back, but you got a little bit back. And, sometimes that does happen. It's happened to me plenty of times. It kind of sometimes makes me feel good because then, I know it worked. Because if I'm getting a little bit of backlash, just a little, I know I sent something out. And I know it was extremely powerful. So for me to only get that much versus how much I actually sent out, got it. Thank you. And I'm fine with that. One of the biggest thing, if you are an empath, if you are energy sensitive, if you feel energy more, hexing, especially cursing, will deplete your energy level. So you might feel tired later that day, depending on when you do it, or the following day. You'll just feel really drained. And it does pull a lot out because you're sending, okay? Gina's talked about this many times. You're sending so much energy into your craft, to your practice, your spells. Where do you think it's going? It's not staying. You have to use it, okay? You can't just be like, man, I really wish he'd just get hit by a car. No, nothing happened. Nothing happened. You know why? Because I didn't mean it. I have no one that I'm talking about. I don't have that emotion built up. I don't have that energy built in. I'm not sending it off. I'm not focusing it. Okay? So me just saying that means absolutely nothing at this point. But when that person does me wrong and I'm saying that to that person, I'm creating from me. Now, I'm a creator of energy. Okay, I create energy. That's what I do. That's why a lot of my stuff is just, sometimes I don't realize what I do and how strong it does take effect. This could be just me making teas. I don't realize the energy I'm putting into it as much because I make so much freaking energy. And then there's days where I'm like sleeping as soon as I get home because I can't handle the day. That's me. That's my form of energy. Everyone has their own form of energy. And if you haven't gotten a chance to watch Gina's Energy Lives, I very much recommend that you do. I recommend Jody's Energy Live, her Crystal Energy Live. Anything that deals with shielding, protection. Kathy did a protection one. I promise you, you want to make sure you take notes, you refresh, you practice, you energize, you charge, you build. Okay? I can't say that enough at all. Now, there are some people that they don't feel any type of the energy. Can't create the energy. And that's fine. That means you have another source within you. Maybe you actually have a fire that you don't consider it an energy. Maybe you utilize the wind. You use what's around you, not what's in you. That's fine. Look at me getting sidetracked again. You guys are supposed to keep me on track. Keep me on track, guys. But you don't have to use what's in you, because some people don't and can't. You have creators and you have manipulators when it comes to magic. You might be a manipulator, and there's nothing wrong with that. You're just utilizing someone else. So kind of like an energy vampire in a way, but not, because we're not going to take it to the extreme. But, you know, say, we'll say Meredith or Serenity, or how about both, okay? You're both manipulators of energy, or you could be manipulators of a source. We'll call it a source. And you're around me, and you know I create it. You know I can create a ample bundle amount. And we're around each other in physical form. And all of a sudden I start to get really, 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 really tired. Like really tired. But all of a sudden your magic just intensified. And it's just become like stronger than it ever has when you weren't around me. That's the type of manipulation. Okay? Or if I'm giving it to you and you're utilizing it. Or just using nature itself. You utilize the energy from the trees, the fire itself. Air is such a big thing to utilize. Water, if you connect with water. It doesn't mean energy has to, you know, be your main source. I should probably catch up on my thingies here. Oh, conspiracy theories. Let's talk. Hey, we can definitely save that for a whole lot of itself, because I have this huge theory on secret society of witches within governments. So see, mine was like that when I put a sour jar in a lady. Sour jar in a lady? What? That wouldn't leave me and my husband alone. Oh, I see. I read sour jar in a lady, thinking like you actually like physically put her, like you cut her open and put her in there and stitch her back up, and it threw me off a little bit because I started thinking all the shows I watch. Sonny says, I use dark music to do any type of spells. I'm so sorry, guys. I use dark magic to do any type of spell. That's what I draw from. Ooh, okay. Ooh, I like that. So like a technology, is that a techno witch? Is that what it's called? Techno witch? You draw from the music. I like it. I like it a lot. No, you're good. You're good. It's either I'm tired or someone else is tired. That's all I got to say. I don't usually yawn on my lives. Let's see, what did I forget? Okay, so we talked about being drained from the energy. Now, remember, fueling the energy can be another thing too. So when I say fueling, what are the emotions, which we talked about this at the very beginning, what are the emotions that we utilize, right? We're utilizing rage, we're utilizing anger, agitation, protectiveness even. We're utilizing different forms of aggressive emotions to create these types of hexes, enchantments, jinxes. Okay, we're using all different types of things. So keep that in mind too. You're not going to be happy when you create a hex. You're not going to be happy when you create a curse at all, right? We haven't gotten to that part yet. So yeah, so that's all on that one. Another really big thing is, we say like you can write their name down or get a picture of them and stuff. But probably the strongest, I shouldn't say probably, it is the strongest type of tag lock, in other words, you're like really locking something in place, is hair. The person's actual hair. I'm telling you right now, it's a lock. It's a locking system. It locks them into your spell. So if you can somehow get a hold of a piece of hair, maybe from their hairbrush or something, you don't have to cut their hair or anything. I'd be very offended if you did that. But I shed so much that you can technically get a strand of hair from me if you really tried. It's probably sitting on my shirt here now. You could utilize that. A tag lock is very strong, so keep that in mind too. Focusing on tensions. Don't forget, you can also use, and I don't want to get too much into this because we got hoodoo and voodoo soon. But you can use poppets too to do anything. You can use jar spells for anything. You can use bags, like the thicker mesh bags. You can use so many different things for hexing or cursing. Really, the sky's the limit. It's kind of what you want to do. What's easier for you. Okay. Any questions so far? Anything at all? Okay. So these are little steps that I pulled from my Uncrossing book that I told you that I thought were kind of beneficial for newer witches or basics, or if this is your, if you really want to like think more of a step-by-step type of thing. All right, so these are essentials to keep at least a few things in mind before deeming a hex or curse might be warranted. So wait at least 1 week before throwing any type of hex or curse. Don't let hexing and cursing be an immediate response. Being pissed off is not a damn good reason. Make sure your anger is justified. Number 2, determine if there's a mundane solution like negotiating with a neighbor or calling the police or getting a restraining order, perhaps engaging a mediator to resolve a conflict, or just report a boss or a coworker, okay? Number 3, make sure shadow work is part of your spiritual practice. Why we ask this? This type of magic takes big energy to activate any type of curse or hex. Shadow work will help you be able to determine if an emotional investment is worth it. Also, that type of energy is sticky. You may need to deal with it in the aftermath of the work because doing harm to others can hurt you, or even if your actions are justified. So that's that whole rule of 3 bounce back thing, or repercussions of. Number 4, remember the basics. Grounding, center, cleansing after doing any type of baneful magic. Any type. Hey, Kathy. How are you? So yeah. Those 4? Yeah, those 4 things are extremely important to think about before actually cursing or hexing anyone, okay? The number 4 is extremely important if you choose to do so. So I'm going to repeat them. Ground yourself, center yourself, cleanse yourself. Please, please, please. And then if you do shielding, which I fully 100% recommend that you do. Gina did it. Did she do it on this group, or was it our old group? The shield. I think she did on this one. Was it this one? Yes, we did on this one. Shielding. If you don't know what shielding is, or you've done it before, go back to the guides, my loves. Find energy shielding. Please watch it. It's with Gina. She did an amazing job. It's very powerful. And then she did an exercise too. Okay, so there's a practice that goes with it. And we all kind of did a fun little practice and do it. You know, if you want to get a hold of one of us and practice energy shielding and trying to bounce things off of each other with energy, we are always here. This is why we have this group, so we can practice, experiment on those that we know how to protect ourselves with. Because if you want to practice energy and you're worried about the style of energy you have versus what I have, and we want to practice it, we can do it virtually. It is 100% fully possible, okay? Best part about this group is I know how to shield myself, okay? I know how to lower those walls. So you're not going to hurt me by practicing. As same with me. I know how to hold myself back. If I'm experimenting with something, I'm going to make sure I ask someone that I know has a very strong wall, okay? That's why we have this group. So we can do this stuff and we can practice it and not feel like, oh, well, maybe whenever I do it, hopefully it'll just work. Well, guess what? This is an experimentation, okay? We experiment here. We're going to throw a bunch of different herbs in a pot. We're going to stir it around and we're going to watch it go kaboom. And then we're going to go, ooh, maybe I should have added iodnute. I think I forgot the iodnute. I'm going to have to remember that next time. Or maybe I forgot an eyeball. I didn't put the eyeball in the potion, did I? It's my fault. That's what I mean. This is an experimentation. Even down to our teas, our magical teas. It's an experiment. Yeah, it was very informative. See, Meredith, down to practice. You have another reason you gotta be careful, though. You already know why. That's one big thing. Be very, very careful. Until you learn he or she, till you learn the energy within. Hey, Ellen. Oh, no problem. No problem. Yeah, you caught the end of it. I mean, we still got a little bit more, so no worries. But yeah, definitely catch it. We had fun. We were just chit-chatting and goofing off and saying some very harsh, nasty things. No, I'm just totally kidding. Okay. All right, so we went through the 4 essentials, the 4 things that you need to pay attention to and think about beforehand. So really think about it. Is your anger justified? Take that week if you need to. Don't do it rationally. That's where mistakes are made. And I mean your mistakes. That's where you might say the wrong thing and that one word might be the wrong, might just change everything, okay? So, we talked about the hexing as the whole, right? I even gave you like the whole war water thing and like different ways or reasons why we would hex, right? We talked about the different types of hexing we can do when it comes to poppets or jars or war water or just words. Candles, you can inscribe on the candle a name. You can anoint the candle also, burn it. You can tie yarn around it, black yarn. You can bind it, if you're binding someone. There's so many different types of things. Now that I'm thinking about it, binding... Someone else help me out here with binding. You can technically make binding a curse as well. I mean, binding's very powerful. I guess it depends on the style of binding you're doing. Black binding, yeah, I guess it could go both ways. Yeah, someone help me on that one. Let me know what you all think with binding. If it falls more of the cursing side or if it falls more on the hexing side. Oh, look, Gina beat me to it. Yep, it could be both. Okay, so yeah, I'm sitting there thinking about it. I'm like, that could actually be both. Like, that could be pretty deadly too, binding someone. So yeah, it could be both. Okay. So, okay. If you were hexed, so say, you know, you're friends with a witch. Been there, done this. Kathy, we already know. Say you were friends with a witch and then you guys had a falling out. Really bad one. And she's crazy. Crazy, okay? She hexes you. And you feel hexed. And maybe you do the hex test. Do you guys know what the hex test is? Do you guys know how to do? It's the basic matches hex test with matches and water. Gina says depends on what you bind with and depends on how you bind. So yes. So there's those fine lines. It depends on what you really are trying to achieve. Yep, Meredith, that's the one. Monica says, what's the hex test? Okay, so, I should have brought my matches up here, but how you do the hex test is you get a standard, like, you can even do a soup bowl of water, okay? Cold water, very cold water, not warm water. You want cold, clear, crystal clear kind of water, okay? You put it in a bowl, you put the bowl down. You take 2 regular size matches. Regular, don't break them off or anything. You want 2 perfectly shaped matches, okay? You're going to take those 2 matches together and you're going to strike them together, okay? They're going to light, obviously. You have them both in your hand. You're going to then drop them into the bowl of cold, and I mean cold water, and they are going to decide if they want to separate, if they want to touch at one tip, or if they want to kind of double tip where the top and the bottoms touch, or if they want to cross. Everything has its own meaning. If obviously they don't touch at all, you're completely in the clear. If they touch at one end, someone attempted to curse you. If they touch at both ends, they not curse, attempted to curse you, or I'm not curse you, hex you. This one is, they hexed you, but you broke free from it because it's not crossed yet. If it's crossed, it means they hexed you and it's still in motion. Did I say that right? Quote me if I'm wrong. I've done this a million times and I'm getting sidetracked. So no, they attempted but didn't succeed. They attempted and succeeded, but it didn't hold true. Crossing means, yes, they hexed you and it's still in hold, or it's still in motion. Oh, no problem. Oh, I can't wait for your sale. Listen, I'm trying to, like, not spend. I might have accidentally bought a golden healer, and I might have accidentally bought some very large pieces for my own personal collection. But that's fine, because I've been saving up for years. Yeah, Monica, it's really good too. There was another member that she actually got a hold of me and then asked if she can actually phone me, and so I gave her my number and we talked and she did the test, and yeah, it worked for her too. But there's so many different. There's the egg test. I'm not as familiar with that one as most. I don't do much with eggs. I have a grossed out look on eggs. I think it's because I was a kid. When I broke an egg open, it had blood in it from a bird, and it freaked me out, and I'm not an egg person. I barely even eat eggs. I make them for everyone else. I just can't. Okay, so here's 2 different things that I kind of gave you. Oh, another thing real quick. For breaking hexes, they're best done on new moons, okay? New moons. To break them, to do them to someone else, full moon, I've been told, is the best. New moons are good for breaking them, though. Hope that helps. But again, you can technically do it anytime you want, but it's stronger on those times. And then don't even get me started on with eclipses. You get involved with eclipses, and holy mega, what the hell did you just do? if you do on any type of eclipses or blood moon nights or super moons. Which I think one of these months we're going to talk about some stuff that deals with planets and the moons and the sun and maybe retrogrades. I just don't know what month. Down the road, though. Okay, so before I get sidetracked, so you can do a hex return bath, okay? So it's pretty much to return a hex to the sender itself. So it's really basic, it's really simple, it's crazy simple. You're going to need salt, baking soda, angelica root, wormwood, and camphor essential oils, okay? Few drops. You mix those all together. You can put them in your little bath bag. If you actually just lay it all in the bath, that's your own choice. Just be careful with, private areas. But yeah, you only need salt, regular salt. You can use sea salt if you want. Regular salt's fine though. Baking soda, angelica root, wormwood. Love that stuff. And camphor oil, essential oil. And all you have to do is speak your words to take what does not belong to you and give it back to sender. Simple as that. It doesn't have to be any type of real fancy, but you're taking what does not belong in you or on you and you're sending it back. Okay? Very easy. Very simple. The second one, I love this one because I love fire. Surprise. This is known as, and I got this from my former priestess, it is called the Hex Breaker Fire, okay? This is in my personal grimoire, guys, all right? So it's to quickly and efficiently reverse any type of black magic hex given to you. So you're going to need garlic skin, you're going to need ginger root, rosemary, eucalyptus leaves, onion skin, and blood root whole. Not grinded, not cut, not stiff, whole. So I mean like an actual chunk of it, okay? You're going to burn all of those together. Then, when you're burning them all together, you want to have a piece of your hair, because you were the one that was cursed. It's going to sound, and this is where the corny weird shit comes in. You want your hair and your name written on a bay leaf, okay? All thrown into a pot of fire or a bonfire. It cannot be on a charcoal tablet. It has to be in, like, might as well say, like a cast iron pot or in a bonfire outside, okay? You don't have to say any words with this one. Now, you can. You don't have to. You can say something as similar like the one with the bath. I take what was given to me and I return it back to sender. What no longer belongs a part of me, I return. But after everything burns all together, okay, listen. After everything burns all together, you're going to scoop those ashes up, okay? And Kathy, you're going to love this one if you're still watching. And you're going to scatter it on a crossroad. And that's it. That is all you have to do with it, okay? Why we scatter it on a crossroads? What does anyone think why we scatter on the crossroads? Who guards the crossroads? I'm just going to give you guys a little minute to think about that one as I reread all these beautiful comments I'm totally missing. Can you send me this firebreaker, please? Of course. Would a fireplace work? I don't see why not. It's a very large fire. I would say yes. I would definitely say yes. Yeah. I would definitely say yes. Sorry, I'm just writing something down. to write something down before I forgot it in my mind. Yeah. And it says, that sounds so powerful. It really is. And it's not mine. It's definitely my priestess's, but it is one of the most powerful hex breakers I've ever had. It's crazy. Serenity says, the man in black, or the man in the top hat, also known as, does he have a name? Or a generic name. We're going to call it a generic name. Hecate. Miranda says Lucy. So there's so many different types of beings that go to crossroads, which, you know, if you follow with Hecate, you could use that. If you follow with the man in the top hat, definitely, or the man in black, we already know Lucy is definitely part of the crossroads, but any type of demon, which is another thing we're going to talk about later this month, about demons and how they're not really as bad as you think they are. But what you're doing is you're giving it to something as menacing and powerful as what was given to you. So you're giving this style of energy to something that can handle that style of energy. You're giving it away. And you're giving it to something that'll keep it and not just give it back. He keeps it. Crossroads. He's stuck, if that's one way of looking at it. My brain works in weird ways when I think of things. Gina says, do it on a windy day and the flue of the fireplace will suck it all out and disperse. Yeah, you could definitely do that. But giving it away is what you really want too. But yeah, that's definitely a fantastic idea, actually. My faith knowledge was tingling when you asked and said, no, he doesn't. I'm cannot wait until we learn more about the Fae, because that's me feeding information from you guys, because I don't know much about the Fae because I work mostly with dragons. So that's definitely, yes, Kathy, you already know, girl. Oh my god, I know, it was on the top of my tongue. Ellen says, dang, should have gone with my gut. Totally thought demons and assuming I was wrong. Listen, let's go. Let's make a pact right now, okay? Everyone that's watching right now and to be watching, this whole month, think dark. Think the unknown. Think what people fear to not understand. That's what we're going to be discussing this whole month. So everything that most people are leery about or scared, which is understandable completely, because there are some things that are very deadly. But go with your gut. Go with your gut, Ellen. Definitely. Yes, definitely the demons. The demons at the crossroads. And I don't mean just the crossroads demon, because there's no such thing as the, it's many. Because there's so many crossroads. There's not just one demon at each. There's many. And they feed on this style of energy, and it generates to them. Like it energizes them. So they keep it. So you give it away and you'll never get it back from them. I guarantee that, because that's what they keep to fuel themselves. Kathy says, this is a great month of topics. Yes, I'm so excited. This month is like my favorite. I can't wait until we talk about my next topic too. Serenity says, I'm sorry. Mira says, holy balls, I'm pumped. Serenity says, hell yes, I want to be more on the dark side. You guys have cookies. We have cookies, we have wine, and we have lollipops. No, I'm just kidding. I know she has some amazing comments, doesn't she? So, that's all I actually have information when it comes to hexing. It's hard to do a practice, but I did give you some hex breaking if you've been hexed, because that's extremely important. If you need any more, there's a lot of books that are good. There are a few books that are better. The Uncrossing book that I have, it's very good. Very good book. It's for hexing and cursing and uncrossing. If you want me to post it, let me know. I can post it in the group. A lot of people have opinions, as I have opinions on what's the best way to do what. Keep doing what you've been doing. Do it your way. Don't do it a book way. Don't do it anyone else's way. Take the suggestion and adapt it to you and your practice and your craft. Don't ever let anyone tell you that you're doing it wrong. They might have suggestions to help amplify it. Maybe take those as a suggestion, but don't ever change it just because they say, oh, that's not going to work. Oh, that'll never work. Never say never, because if I want to take, some bone set and some wormwood, maybe mixed in with a little bit of calamus root, and we'll say lavender, to create a very energy draining style of tea. Oh, it might taste a very bitter tea, but it's gonna put someone to sleep. I don't care what anyone has to say. It's my tea, it's my energy, it's my intentions. It's my sleepy tea. And it's not a very good sleepy tea. And I don't mean it doesn't taste good, because, I can always make it taste good. Add a few extra things, But the base of the component is what I want my intentions to be as. Never let anyone tell you otherwise. We don't do that in this group. We work our own magic, because that's the fun part. I'll definitely post the book, guys. And Kathy, you do have the book. It's the red and black one. You already know which one it is. And then I do have another one too I'll post too. I can't remember the name. It's really small. And it's actually called... I told the girls too, my crones, the little book of nasty spells, I think it's called. Literally, that's what it's called. And it's a little book too. Like, okay, it's like maybe that big, but it's only like that thin. It's called The Little Book of Nasty Spells or something like that. I'll post that too. That one's really good. But that's more of an advanced level. Just heads up. I even really I've gotten halfway through and I was like, ooh, okay. I'll open this when I really need to hurt something or someone. Kathy says, yes, that's what I said, to make it your own. Don't follow the book. Tailor it to your own intentions. For sure. I can't wait to get my package and try all of those teas. Ooh. I can't wait for you. Look, I got so many. I still got a few more teas. But I plan to, do a little mini live on just the teas themselves. And Megan and I have some new products coming in too for next time. The next live, which we haven't figured out a date yet, because my work schedule got crazy all of a sudden. Come to me for all your toxic herb needs. I promise I've tried them on accident. Holy moly, yes you have. You had me scared that day. I know that series. I own most of them except that one. Of course it would be that one, wouldn't it? Well, guess what? Now you have an excuse to buy it. I want that just because of the name. That is literally the whole reason. When I seen it, I was like, what is this? I love the name. Once I looked into it and I read the reviews, and I was like, yeah, we need this book in the collection. I want to get a few extra, darker style books, but I've been really hard into my demonology lately, so that's what I've been working with. Kathy says, crystal teas are the best, and I'm not a tea drinker. I drink her teas. Here's how easiest way with my teas, okay? And this is even when we do Dragon Tea Time too, is if my teas have a very magical name, think of the name, look at the name, maybe research the parts of the name, and I can guarantee you're going to figure out what the tea represents on a whole. What it's going to give you magically. So, Morgan's Field, If you know Morgan as the battle goddess, fields, it's red tea. It's a fighter style of tea. It's a warrior tea. Okay? It's going to give you that. I'm ready to go. You see what I'm talking about? If you got my Lilith's Orchard tea, you know Lilith, you know the orchard. It's more of, I'm going to take what I want. I'm going to take what I want. Okay? I got this. And no one's going to stop me. Don't matter who you are. Every tea has its theme. And the theme has magical purpose. Promise you that. I will look for you. Let me find my herbs. Let me research which of my herbs is good for pregnancies, and I'll make sure that I'll make you a special tea if you want. Like, definitely. Do you have any book recommendations for demons? Oh, listen. I'm not gonna say anything on that because I gotta save that for my live. I just gave you my topic for later on this month because I'm gonna talk about those books then. So if you don't mind waiting, you'll find them there. I promise. Ellen says, I drank that yesterday and I really felt the fighter energy. Oh, you talking about Morgan's tea? Oh man, that's Morgan. Well, I mean, go figure, because they are my two main deities. Lilith's tea and Morgan's tea. I perfected those dang teas so much. I'd be like, try this one, Megan. Megan, try this one. Megan, how do you think this tastes? All right, Megan, do you feel this? She's sitting there like, man, if I gotta drink this tea one more time. I was giving it to everyone. I was like, try this. Here's a sample pack. I need your feedback. How does it make you feel? How does it make you feel? Yeah. When is that tea coming back in stock? I've been waiting on oh so patiently. Lilith's Orchard? Sorry, we're talking about Lilith's Orchard? I think I did promise you I'd make you some more, didn't I? Oh, that's right. I was waiting on my, the green tea. Because I ordered it out of country. Oh, yeah. All right, let me add that to my other note here. Like, I have everything else. That green tea is the only thing I'm still... Actually, no. Oh, no, I got it. I got the tea. I got the green tea. That came in, like, a week ago. Or maybe a little bit more than a week ago. I got you. I got you. I wrote it down. But yeah, definitely. And just for shits and giggles. Just because I can. Oh, if you guys want to go as far as the live on Hexing goes, please do. But I want to talk about the magical part of just stuff in general. Like, you can make a hex tea, guys. Don't forget that too. Ellen says, I was ready to go battle on the smallest things at work. Not in an angry way, just like ready to take the world and get my... Yes! Thank you for saying that. Because that makes me feel great. Like, it really does make me feel great. All that makes me so good. Like, it really makes me feel good. Like, remember when we did the Dragon Tea time with Winter's Hearth, right? The Winter's Hearth tea, right? And it makes everyone feel, like, really, really, really warm and just comfortable and stuff. I mean, let's see. And then this new time around, I made a Fae Current type. Now, if you work with the Fae... Now, guys, I made this because I love you guys. But, like, I found vanilla rooibos, and I was like, oh, this is amazing. This is amazing. Okay? And then you got hibiscus and rose hips, apples, elderberries, cornflowers, blueberries, pomegranate, and oolong tea. Oolong! Okay? I mean, the Fae Current is literally, you're riding that border of, should I? I should, but I should. Should I? Yeah. Let's have an adventure. That's the Fey current, okay? It's like an adventure style of tea. Then you have your Trinity Forest. This is literally you walking in the forest with these 3 amazing trees that look almost identical, but they're so different. And you gain so much power from them. It's a Trinity tea, okay? There's 3 berries and 3 types of herbs. That's it. That's all that's in it. But it's a Trinity tea. It's a very foresty style tree, foresty berry style tea. But it really connects you with the forest itself. Like, really connects you with the forest. Then one of my favorites is the Grandmother Willow. So, if you were part of our other group, the Owl's Cauldron, I gave you guys the recipe for this. I also just made it. Medicinally, it's a headache tea. Okay, it has white willow bark in it. It's one of the biggest ingredients in it. So yeah. It also has honey bush in it though too. I did add that as a little kick. It's a sweet tea. But you might as well consider it magically as more of a mind and knowledge type of tea, because even though it does help with headaches, it actually helps you find what you seek. It really just connects you to that new level, but grounded, of course. Then what was the other one? Siren's Call. That should be enough said. Without sounding so wrong, but siren, the beauty of the water, okay? This tea is 100% water elemental based. And if you're trying to connect with any type of water, anything magic, this is a tea. But it's more of I'm beautiful, but I'm very deadly too. It's one of those types of teas. And I think there was another tea. Oh, I think I sold out of that one already. It's Sacred Night. Now that's Sacred Night was one of my fun ones. So if you resonate more on the I feel more comfortable in the dark type of magic, that's a tea for you. It definitely will intensify anything that deals with the dark side of the moon, you might as well call. Hence the Sacred Night. It's a good ritual style tea. It's a good offering tea. And it's just all around really good tea too. And that one has in it, I forget because I made this one like first. This has cherry vanilla tea, rose hips, rose buds, periwinkle, and dried cherries. This was the one I was like, let's throw some cherries in here and see how it goes. Let me go back real quick. Batty Bish tea. That's the one I can't wait on, as I'm starting to feel more powerful because Beltane is coming up. So I'll make it for you. I got you. Don't worry. Don't worry. We path working with these teas? You can. You can. Oh, for sure. For sure. No, yeah, for sure. Siren's tea. Can I make Siren's tea baby safe? I know that there are a few things in Siren's tea that I know are not good for pregnant women, but I might be able to tweak it for you and get the same quality and the same effects. So let me write it down. Siren's tea pregnancy safe for Meredith. Let me work on that. Give me a couple days. I'll work on that. No problem, Ellen. Listen, anytime you need teas, I'll have them on the next live too. Any ones that haven't sold, and then I have actually a few more batches I need to bag. I'm just waiting for the bags to come. I had to order some new bags. And my labels somehow got lost in transit. But yeah, I'll definitely have these teas. So let me know. And if you want me to make any new teas, new blends, let me know. I'm constantly making blends. You guys know this. But mostly there's just, single dosage for me. Whatever I feel like mixing up that time when I want that tea. But let me know. But, I mean, we're still going to do another Dragon Tea Time. I was going to try and do another Dragon Tea Time for this month and make it very dark-based as far as, I was going to make it more of like a hex removal type of tea. Because, again, that hex teas are not as permanent. So it's a little easier. But then I realized I have my demon live, and that one's going to take me a long time to prep and make sure my notes are in order so I don't lose track of what I'm saying and I don't ramble like I'm doing right now. So, yeah, for sure. Dark. See, Ellen, you just had to go and say that. Now I gotta do it. I gotta fit it in somewhere. Now I gotta fit that. I'll see what I can do. I'll see. Because I like teas. And I like making teas with you. Wow! Pressure, Ellen! Pressure! Gina says, I need a big batch of divination and mediumship tea. Divination tea? I have divination tea. I have the recipe. I've had it for a while. Mediumship tea, now that one's more... That one I'm going to have to play with. You just gave me something to play. I like it. Mediumship tea. I'm going to play with that one. Because that one's going to take me into some, it's going to take me into some different, like some periwinkles. Some periwinkle herb. Definitely some mugwort. And hardest thing ever, guys. Trying to counteract the taste of mugwort if you don't like the taste of mugwort, because it is a horrible taste if you don't mix it with something. But I learned very quickly, honeybush tea and honey itself definitely counteracts the mugwort. But I gotta figure out how to do this. Now I get to play. I like playing. You just gave me all this whole list, guys, of stuff I can't wait to do. A spirit guide tea. Ooh, I haven't made one of those yet. Preggy Betty. I will definitely look up some pregnancy teas for you. And then I'll make it better. At least I'll try to. I'm going to be doing some readings in the future. Yes! I was wondering when you were going to get back into. Because you kind of do it without realizing you do it anyways. Just so you know. Like what you said with my son. You kind of already do it. So... just saying. Ooh, my Lucifer tea. Now that was fun to make. I enjoyed making Lucifer's tea. That was such a nice black tea. Yeah, that was fun. I like that. And then I added a little bit of, oh my gosh, pure honey that my boss has his own beehives. He kind of does on the side. And then he sells his original honey, like real honey. Holy crap! It was the best tea I've made that at that time, at least. I always have a best tea. Every time I make a tea, I'm like, this is my new favorite. This is my new favorite. But that honey is amazing. Somebody says, oh, a low-key tea or any tea. Oh, I know. I haven't made low-key a tea yet. There's a lot. There's a few tea. I want to make an Anubis tea really bad, but that's going to be a dead tea. Like, it's going to be a dead tea. Or a gatekeeping tea. Yeah. I have to work on those ones. I gotta be really in the zone if I make a tea for a deity. Because if I offend them, I don't want them to be mad because I made a horrible tea for them. And yeah, I know, Gina. Oh, I know. It's just the leap in trusting myself and my messages. You really, really need to trust because you know your shit. That's like me trusting my intuition. You know, I know stuff too, just completely different than yours. But yeah, I backstab all the time with mine. Like, oh, you know, nah, I'm probably wrong. I'm definitely wrong. And then next thing you know, I'm like, nah, I was right. Yeah, I should have just done it. I should have just said it. For sure. All right, guys. Well, since I rambled long enough, we're going to end this. I'm going to head to bed. 3 a.m. comes really quick. But thanks for joining me. I had so much fun, guys. Like, I missed you guys so much. And I'm glad you can join. I'm glad we got to talk about something silly and fun. I love talking about hexing. It's so much fun. I'll get those books to you. Also, I'll work on these teas and, you know, here and there when I get some extra time. I promise. I totally don't overwork myself. I don't put anything on my plate. Well, it's a good thing my live was tonight, too, because if you guys... I probably would have had to postpone my live if I did it yesterday, because I was not in the right state of mind. But today I'm in a great mood, so... What I did last night worked, and it changed everything, so we're good. Okay, I love you guys. Have a great night. I hope you had a lot of fun and a lot of laughs with me. I will see you guys soon. I'm never far away. I love you all, and blessed be my sisters.